Welcome to the Life Self-Mastery Podcast, where we bring in entrepreneurs who have created online businesses and improved their lifestyles. Here's your host, Rohit Malhotra.
Hi everyone, I'm Rohit from lifeselfmastery.com, and today we have Avi Zolty, who's a founder of Ivory Clasp, who are raising funds from investors on Republic platform, where I had also invested into this platform. Ivory heads marketing and strategy for Ivory Clasp. Avi is a founder of Teen Startup Academy and has built companies like Skurt and Beatdeck. Avi is also from the prestigious Y-Combinator 2013 batch. Welcome to the show, Avi.
Thank you. And I just want to do another shout out when you're mentioning Y-Combinator. We also went through a Midwest accelerator called Generator, which we thoroughly enjoyed, and I definitely want to give them a shout out on that list as well.
So can you please share your journey, why you started building companies and why did you build up Ivory Clasp?
I started companies actually when I was 14 or 15 years old. My first company was called I Recommend It. It was when Facebook first came out with their API way back then. And we built a company called I Recommend It that was very similar to what today you would call Pinterest. But we gave up on that since we couldn't see any money immediately. We launched, started a bunch of other startups, actually made my first bit of money was finding an exploit in Facebook's event system where you invited people to events and throwing teen nightclubs in Atlanta, Georgia. But got back into software, and right before I founded this subscription company, I was running paid acquisition at a women's subscription box called Latote. And I quickly fell in love with the idea of subscription boxes, specifically for someone who had a background in paid acquisition, which for anyone that doesn't know is just basically buying users or intelligent advertising, usually through Facebook or Pinterest or Instagram or whatever it is. And the reason subscription boxes are so exciting is that they're kind of this balance of a subscription, like a SaaS model, that can really calculate their lifetime value a lot better than a single product service. So what that means is if I'm trying to sell a t-shirt, I only really know how much profit I'm making off that t-shirt and hoping that someone comes back to buy something else or buy another t-shirt. But if I'm selling a subscription, whether it's Netflix or Pandora or Spotify or Ivory Clasp, I can calculate exactly how long I think that customer is going to stay and how much money I'm going to make off them, which allows me to fit out everyone else. And what's so specifically interesting about tangible goods subscriptions like Latote or like Ivory Clasp is that unlike something like Spotify or Netflix where you're hoping people subscribe, but you don't really expect people to purchase something immediately after seeing that ad. With tangible goods, you can actually see people purchasing things just like they would purchase that t-shirt. And what happens is you can advertise on places like Facebook and Instagram, but you can also bid a lot more than the people selling single products because you do have that understanding of what that lifetime of that customer is worth. So that's basically why I wanted to start a subscription business. I think the most exciting part about our business is Ivory Clasp and Airfleet is that we're sending a single product to users. We aren't sending them multiple products and then having to pay to ship multiple products back and then do reverse logistics. We're shipping just one thing, which is cheaper than shipping multiple things. And we're also shipping it only one way. And with this, we can obviously cut down on costs, but also really understand what that lifetime value is, really understand the profit per user per month a lot more accurately.
Are you selling it only on your platform or are you using other platforms like Amazon and Etsy to sell these products?
So actually, interestingly enough, Amazon just got into the subscription space for digital goods about 6 or 7 months ago, I want to say. And we're very, very excited for when we can do that. But right now, we're only selling the subscription on our site. And that's because, it's really a service. It's really, there's people getting billed every month or every other month or every quarter. And there's styling that goes on. There's a really complex set of features on our side that really get the customer what they want. But you can purchase our subscription on Groupon and a couple other platforms, which would basically effectively be like you getting a gift card that, can be used at our own subscription site to get the service, to start the service.
So Ivory Clasp is a subscription handbag service, which you can get for $45. But is the cost of the handbags more than $45 or are these real plans?
So actually our price has gone up to $49. And so the price of these handbags, the kind of idea behind Ivory Clasp is that if you're a brand and you have all this unsold inventory, which every brand has to deal with, of course, you're forced to hold on to that inventory for a certain amount of time because let's say you were to buy 1 million pieces of handbag, and you were to sell 80% of that to Macy's. Well, Macy's doesn't want you turning around and selling those other 20% of the other 200,000 units to someone that's going to advertise those units for less than what Macy's is selling them for. So you're basically stuck with all this unsold inventory unless you can sell it to someone else that's going to sell it at full price, which especially in today's game sometimes doesn't happen. And if you can't, then you still have this option to sell it to discounters like TJ Maxx or Ross, but you have to hold that inventory for 3 months. So we kind of come in there right as you're realizing, I'm basically going to have to pay to store this inventory for 3 months. And we say, look, if you give it to us for the same price, that you bought it for, which is the deal you're getting from Ross and TJ Maxx anyways, what we can do is we can save you on those storage fees. And then, as a little bit of icing on that, you're also getting to know that when you sell it to us, we're never advertising it off price, which allows you to even do that deal with us. But more importantly, it really saves your brand, because if you sell too much product to the discounters, eventually your brand becomes worth less and less. And a lot of old school fashion brands are starting to see that happen to them. They're forced more and more to sell to the discounters as traditional brick and mortar sales decline. And the more they sell to discounters, the less people buy them at Macy's, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
So when did you launch the service?
So we launched Ivory Clasp end of May of 2016. And then about June or July of this year, we expanded into earrings, which is our second vertical that I mentioned earlier, Earfleek.
And you also mentioned that if you find, the bag online anywhere for less than $98, then you will refund the money. Is it including your own platform or Amazon? And
yeah, of course. The reason that we can do that is because we're controlling the inventory. So we're only sending stuff if you can find it for sale for less. The brands that we're buying it from are probably going to be more angry, whoever's selling it, than even we would, right? Because they can't sell it to people that are going to sell it for off price. So that's kind of where it comes to. Another thing that we're doing, though, more and more, is that we're actually working with much smaller brands, up and coming brands that will be the next big thing in a couple of years, and really giving them a way to test out their different line, to really hit their margins that they need to hit to be able to produce this, and in a way helping incubate these brands.
Can you let us know which other brands that are allowed to sell on Ivoryclasp?
That's actually the trick, right? So we can't tell you exactly what brands we carry at any given time, because if we told you, that would defeat the whole purpose of the brand being able to say, hey, if I sell through Ivory Clasp, I'll save my brand's name. But I can say is that you can look on our site and you can look at tags on social media, and you can definitely see some brands we've carried in the past. Brands that include With 212, brands that include Splendid, Betsy Johnson, Steve Madden. But we can never tell you exactly what bag we're going to send you. And that's part of the trade-off. That's why you're getting the bag for such a great discount.
Subscription-based businesses lets you know the long-term value of the customer. But why did you want to solve this problem now?
I guess there's two answers to that. The answer from my part, which is from the marketing side, is that we're really in this new revolution, right? If you kind of look back through history, people invented the wheel and, invented smithing and all this different stuff. And now, we have these technological revolutions one after another. The software, the iPhone, everything's happening faster and faster. And I think part of this, and to a lesser extent, a different revolution, is kind of the way people look at and the way people treat marketing. And with that, the ability for small businesses to get into the space. So when you're buying a billboard, you need to give a bunch of money, and you don't really know how many people are going to see it or what the demographic of those people that are going to see it are. And I think the biggest value of Facebook is that you can bid, you don't need $1 million to get one ad. You need $1 to launch your first ad. And you can target very specifically, not just specific demographics, but really, really detailed overlapping audiences. So it's not just, I'm targeting people that live in Los Angeles, but I'm targeting people that live in Los Angeles whose mom are from Arkansas, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that as we kind of shift to this and everyone's bidding for all this, I think there's a huge arbitrage opportunity of people that are selling single product and people that are selling subscription businesses to really, really take advantage of this. And that's what got me most excited. For Sean, who's my co-founder, I think what excited him the most is his family's in the fashion side of things. His family, it deals with all these brands. And for them, they see brick and mortar dying. They see a big problem on their hand where they have to sell to discounters or else they take a loss in the product. But the more they sell to discounters, the more difficult it is for them to sell full price the next season. And as that becomes a bigger and bigger problem for these brands, I think he recognizes this is a way to break the cycle and a way to really get them out of that.
Why did you use a crowdfunding platform like Republic rather than go to VCs and raise funds?
So we raised a round from a couple angel investors and a couple smaller VCs. I think that there's a couple of values to crowdfunding. One of them is obviously the press, that you get a bunch of different people that, have ownership in this business that can share it with their friends who are incentivized to help you and grow you and share the product. I think beside that, with our business, So specifically the Ivory Clasp side of things, you kind of have this business where the data is showing you one thing, which is people like the service, people are staying for a very long time, people want that many handbags. But you also have a lot of people that are too educated for their own good, who are wired to saying, do people really want that many handbags? I can't believe it, or whatever it is. And I think that when you go to everyday consumers, problems like this make a lot more sense than someone who stares at metrics all the time. So I think that, we were very fortunate in the people that we got to invest in our base, but I think it's definitely very valuable to us to have a lot of other people join that cap table. A lot of other people have the opportunity to really build something really great with us.
How do you plan to beat companies like Rent the Runway, Trunk Club, and others who also sell, apparel and have started selling handbags?
The short answer is that we specialize just in handbags. The little bit longer answer is that really comes down to our business model, which is we're the only people that can sell this product at this big of a discount with these brand names. So you kind of take a step back and you look at the industry, you realize there's really three key elements to this. There is price, how much you're having to pay. There is, and we have this on our Republic page. You have the price, you have the brand names, and the quality, which is pretty much the same thing because the brands represent a certain level of quality. And then you have the affordability and the style of the bag, how trendy it is. And as you look at all these different businesses, you see Rent the Runway, which is obviously a lot more expensive, and the product is not the highest quality because it's reused, but it's definitely, a strong brand. And then you have, the Tote, which is focusing more on, fast fashion and stuff, but the product you're not getting isn't firsthand. And you kind of go through all these different businesses, and again, you can look at the chart on our site, and you kind of see that the only people that are able to hit two or more of these are the ones that are really, really succeeding. And that's the discounters, which have everything but the in-seasonality, the fashion aspect of it. That you have the Macy's and the brands themselves, which have everything but the margins that they wish they could have, TJ Maxx's margins. And then obviously something like Just Fab, which is just missing the brand names. And we're the first business that is able to balance all three of those. So I don't think any one of those are individually a competitor to us, but I think altogether we're solving a problem that none of them can really solve fully.
What are the sort of returns or exit strategy you're looking at, or you're not looking at sort of an exit strategy as of now?
The true answer, I think there's a lot of people that would be interested in acquiring us. Anyone from a Macy's that wants to be able to have the margins that TJ Maxx has, or a TJ Maxx that wants to be able to sell in-season product like Macy's, all the way up to the brands themselves that want a way to move their inventory. But that's really not a focus for us right now. Our focus is obviously growing this business. It's focusing on what's really important, which is making our customers happy, getting constantly better at understanding our customer and how to communicate with them and keep them happy, and obviously just build something really, really spectacular.
And what's your monthly run rate kind of sales are you getting every month?
I think on Ivory Clasp, last month we did about 40,000. But where we're really pushing our efforts and where we're really seeing growth is our handbag business, our earring business, which we also have a lot higher margins on. And that's doing another, on top of that, is doing another 15,000 last month. And that's up 20-30%.
What's your lifetime value to cost of acquisition sort of a ratio?
For Ivory Clasp, we're not spending as much on acquiring customers. We're kind of at a healthy point, and we're again focusing more on Earfleek, which we really see as the blossoming aspect of this business. But that's about $50. With Earfleek, we're paying a blended $4 to acquire a user. And to make that comparison, Ivory Clasp sees about $150 lifetime value, or Earfleek sees about a $40 lifetime value. So you have about a 1 to 10 return as our most recent metrics.
Okay, that's good. And you have any reasons your product might fail in the market?
Yeah, I mean, there's a million reasons, right? You really can't tell the future, and every startup's a risk, right? You don't know if churn's going to balloon up tomorrow, or if the cost to acquire user is going to explode. I think that those are, from a subscription business, really your two main focal points. Margins you can kind of control based on knowing what you can afford and what you purchase on. But the two things that you really are hoping to stay constant is churn and cost to acquire user. And those are the two things that, every day is a battle. You're always trying to get your CAC lower and your churn lower. And there's ways to kind of control that. But I'd say for any subscription business to fail, it's just miscalculating what your lifetime value is, how much you can bid to acquire a user, and being able to actually execute on that and acquire the users to hit your fixed costs.
Let's quickly do the top 3. What's your favorite business book?
I'm the wrong person to ask. I love reading. I read a lot, but I don't. But to me, reading's a really, it's my escape. So I don't read a lot of business books, but my dad actually, I have it on my desk right now. There's a book called Shoe Dog by Phil Knight about the creation of Nike. I also really, really liked Nassim Taleb's book, Anti-Fragility. I think Nassim Taleb's a very intelligent guy.
And if you could go back in time when you started your business, what is the one thing you would have focused on?
I'm really, really bullish on the earrings. I kind of wish we had started earrings earlier because I see it just exploding under our hands. Beyond that, I think there's a lot of lessons that we've learned as we built this. For example, how to save on shipping, how to save on, one big thing is I think we should have brought an engineer on board earlier because that's obviously saved us a lot of money and being able to consolidate work and make styling easier. I think there's a lot of stuff that we've learned with purchasing, understanding inventory control, et cetera, that I wish I had magically known when we start, but that's, part of starting a business.
What's your favorite online tool, for example, Gmail or Slack?
I have a love-hate relationship with Slack. I love the idea of Slack. It's like Skype in the old days. It can get a little bit annoying. I love Facebook. I don't really use Snapchat. Never used Instagram or Twitter that much. I love Facebook. I also spend a lot of time on Facebook, the ads, and just personally. So I'd say my favorite online thing is Facebook.
How can people reach out to you or how can they buy your products?
So you can go to Ivoryclasp.com or airfleet.com. And our email addresses to contact us on either of those is support@ivoryclasp.com or support@airfleet.com. And we're very responsive, obviously. Customer support and customer satisfaction is the number one most important thing that you could ever focus on in any business.
Thank you very much for coming on to the show, Avi. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I've had a great time.
Thanks for listening to the Life Self-Mastery podcast, where we teach you how to start and grow your online business. For more information, visit Rohit's blog at www.lifeselfmastery.com.